If you struggle to perform consistently in FPS games, or if you can't translate your aim training ability into an FPS match, then I hope that this video will help you overcome that. So developing confidence and the ability to control your emotions are key components to achieving success in life, but also in gaming. Before I make observations of better players than myself, one thing I've noticed about my gameplay is that when I've had an emotionally exhausting day, which happens from time to time, I tend to actually play better because my brain no longer wants to process excessive emotions. I find I'm in this almost indifferent state of mind, and I play pretty critically with a calm mind. This is the emotional baseline I'll be aiming to achieve and refer back to later in the video. So when I watch my favourite streamers, who are definitely better than me, I tend to make observations on their demeanour and how that affects their gameplay, and having witnessed their repeated ability to kick ass, I've been keeping some notes to try and teach myself how to replicate their success, or at least be marginally less shit. And I've noticed how all of the people I watch have roughly the same mindset, knowledge and skills as a baseline. So they have good knowledge of the game, they understand all of the guns, the abilities, the maps, and use this knowledge to their advantage. They have a good baseline level of accuracy in their shooting, their positioning is good, and they typically play quite aggressively. They actually have fun when they play, which sometimes I struggle with that. I don't always enjoy my play sessions. And they're supremely confident in their skills. And then finally, most important of all, they have a calm demeanour, or at least they don't get upset or angry when they lose. So what I can't help you with is the game knowledge, the positioning, and the baseline level of accuracy. These are all things you'll need to develop yourself, and watching guides can help you do this quickly. But the other points I mentioned are things I hope to help you with today. Playing for fun, developing confidence and staying in control of your emotions, tapping into that emotional baseline we've already talked about earlier in the video. So we're aiming to improve these things to make our lives and gameplay more good. In the past, I've looked into something often referred to as flow state. Now don't click off the fucking video. Everyone clicks off when I mention flow state. It's real, man. I'm telling you, it's real. I use it for work all the time. It's difficult to apply to gaming though. So flow state is essentially a state of mind we all have the ability to access that allows us to be entirely focused on the activity at hand. And I won't talk too much about this, but a quick Google search will bring you up to speed. The streamers I watch seem to be able to access this state of mind on demand, and with their unwavering focus and their high baseline levels of skill, they're able to achieve a high level of success in their games. So why can't we all replicate this? If it's as easy as just entering flow state, surely we can all just do that and frag out, right? Well, if you're susceptible to anxiety, you'll find that your anxious thoughts serve to prevent you from entering flow state. Or if you're in flow state, the anxiety we experience sometimes can knock you out of it. And it goes even further than that, which we'll discuss now. So when I'm in game and I'm trying to play well, I tend to put a lot of pressure on myself, and this is just a bad personality trait. But as soon as my confidence in one thing gets rocked, I tend to focus heavily on that one thing and neglect all of the other aspects of my gameplay, which I've already mentioned, the positioning, the mindset, and so on. As an example, in Apex Legends, more often than not, I come up against insanely high-skilled players because the matchmaking in that game leaves a little to be desired. And it often ends with me getting beamed and not landing too many of my own shots. So when I'm in my next engagement, I try a little harder. My head goes into overdrive, my pulse starts beating faster, I can feel my body getting hotter, and I miss all my shots because I'm now applying so much pressure to myself that I can't actually perform anymore. So I have this sense of doom before I've even engaged in the fight, and I doubt my ability to hit shots, and my positioning isn't as aggressive as it should be, and I throw the game in those critical moments. So how have I learned to fix this? So step by step, some of the things I'm going to talk about now might sound a bit silly, but I don't give a fuck. So step one, remind yourself that you're playing for fun. You aren't actually going to die. And you should try to remember this before, during, and after your play sessions. Step number two is to learn some breathing techniques. When you're beginning to experience heightened emotions, take a nice, slow, deep breath in and out. And do this until you gain control of your emotions. Use this breathing technique as a way to distract your brain from those intrusive thoughts. And then finally, to take you back to our earlier emotional baseline, that's what we're aiming for with this breathing exercise. Nice, calm, no emotional traffic, Just nice, calm thoughts. Breathing can help you get there. Step 3 is to recognize your physical responses to stress and pressure. For me personally, I start to feel a pulse in my temple, my temperature rises, my body gets more tense, and my thoughts become quite busy and also hyper-focused on one aspect of my gameplay. Step 4, so when you observe a stress response, refer to steps 1 and 2. Remind yourself you're playing for fun and start your breathing exercises. Step 5, don't be too critical of your gameplay in the moment. Allow yourself to make mistakes without it impacting your perception of your ability. And if you find you're talking to yourself in a negative way in your mind, engage your breathing exercises until it stops. Step number 6, try not to overthink your decisions in gameplay. Do what feels right in the moment and don't question it. If you die, that's okay because you're playing for fun, learn from it and try again. Step number 7 is to practice these series of steps for a few weeks consistently. Give this a chance to work and for your body and brain to adjust to the new way of thinking and playing. It won't happen immediately. Step number 8 is optional. If you find you can't settle into a rhythm following steps 1 through 7, you can also try playing another trick on yourself and pretend that you're watching someone else play. Imagine you're a passenger during the engagements. Detach yourself from the moment and look at their gameplay in front of you through that lens, like an out-of-body experience. Then apply the critical thinking. If I was in that position, what would I do? And I only tend to use this in extreme examples. If I really can't calm my brain down, then I will detach myself from the gameplay and I'll look at it from a different perspective. Step number 9 is to stop playing when the fun stops. If you turn your gameplay, your gaming sessions and your fun with your friends, that you do in the evening into a job, then it will feel just like that. You'll start to resent it, and that's not what we play games for. So when the fun stops, turn the game off, do something else. So with some practice, these 9 simple steps allow me to access the aforementioned mythical flow state. If I'm successful at implementing these steps, my games are much more consistent and I find myself enjoying my sessions much, much more. My gameplay becomes more playful, experimental, less predictable, and thus I tend to win more matches. And finally, this all helps me to develop my in-game confidence. So one of my favorite quotes related to the lesson that I'm trying to teach you today is a throwaway comment from Hollow FPS. And someone asked him during one of his streams how he stays so calm and doesn't panic in his gunfights. And his response was that he just assumes he's going to win, even before the fight has started. That quite arrogant response was very impactful to me when I heard it, because in Apex Legends specifically, I tend to assume the opposite, which is not a healthy way to play the game. I hope that these lessons are of value to you. Be kind to yourself. Bye-bye now.